of all time. Do you believe me now? I got some bad news. I see it as bad news. You guys can see it how you want to see it. Regarding the upcoming fight between Payday, you want Payday? I know that Canelo Alvarez, Saul Alvarez, and Terence Crawford. In this video, I'm going to break it down, let you know what's bad, and just really give my thoughts. So without further ado, let's get it. So Ring put out a brand new update regarding Canelo and Crawford fight. Now they've switched the date. It was supposed to be on a Friday. That's what they put out. I made the video, reported on that. Now they said they're not doing it on a Friday, right? It says the Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford Ring Magazine super middleweight fight will now take place on Saturday, September 13th. Turki Al-Sheikh told The Ring. The Riyadh season pay-per-view event could land in 5 potential locations across New York, LA, or Vegas. So let's just start in chronological order with what I just read for you guys. That in and of itself is a bad look, terrible look. When have you ever seen a super fight that was announced on a particular date and then a week or so later they say, psych, gotcha, bitch, it's on a different date? I haven't personally seen that. I don't know when that's ever happened. And my thing is this. It is very questionable when people continue to make the same mistakes. For me, I hate making mistakes. A little story about me personally. I hate making mistakes. Therefore, when I make them, like all humans, I really try to learn from them and not make the same mistake. However, this outfit, Ring, Turkey, Riyadh season, right, continues to make the same mistake. Prematurely putting out information and then having to retract, redact, change, switch, move around. It makes you look disorganized and unprofessional. And you would think a fight of this magnitude would, or at least the magnitude they say it is, right, would have a bit more TLC to it, right? Like, for example, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd. Did they announce a date and then a week, 2 later, they say, hey, surprise, it's not that date? Or did they do this with Mayweather, McGregor? So for me, it makes the people look inexperienced in boxing and look like novices. Now, in the combat world, things do happen, and I understand that. But usually, from what I've seen, when dates change, it's because a fighter was compromised. They got injured or something happened in camp or something. Usually an injury, right? Yeah, you got to reschedule the fight. You can't get medical clearance like Errol Spence, And a lot of times, like Errol Spence, when he's supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, they saved the fight, saved the date, and put Ugas in with Pacquiao, who ended up beating Pacquiao. So usually that's how it works. But now we're putting this fight from a Friday to a Saturday. Now, for me, Saturday is the preferred date. But my thing is this: you should have always put it at Saturday instead of announcing it as Friday. The more you do these things, the worse it looks for you, because it looks like you haven't mapped it out. Furthermore, now that you switched it to Saturday, September 13th, now guess what? You got to compete with college football. So it's very apparent to me that the people, no matter how much money they have, they don't really understand boxing. They don't understand the American market, right? And these things are bleeding through and showing. And it's funny because I'm the only person with a pair of nuts in this game to call this stuff out. There's a lot of people who sold out their channels, their websites, and certain people could do no wrong now, right? And there's nothing critical. I, on the other hand, am always going to keep it real with what I see. And I put out a video just the other day. You guys can vouch for it if you follow the channel, saying that there's already red flags that this is going to be a circus, this Canelo Crawford fight. And it's the video that you guys can check. Dana White was saying that he hates putting events at stadiums. You know what I mean? So Turkey is giving the rights to throw the fight and host the fight to Dana White, who hasn't thrown any boxing matches, you know, on his own. And he's already complaining about not liking the venue. You know what I mean? Now, speaking of venue, they said Allegiant Stadium. Here's another reason you look unprofessional. You said the Allegiant Stadium, people started buying flights and hotels to go to Vegas because Allegiant Stadium can hold a lot of people. And I'm like, I don't know. We haven't seen a boxing match in this particular venue. It's state of the art. I'm sure it cost a lot of money, and that's a big venue to fill. You know what I mean? It's like the AT&T Stadium, but the AT&T Stadium has been filled in boxing by stars. Errol Spence, who's from Texas, and Manny Pacquiao when he fought a couple times there, Plotty and Margarito. So you've pretty much lied to the public potentially, and now you're saying that the fight might not be at Allegiant Stadium. It could be in Vegas, LA, New York, or two other secret locations, which is probably Saudi Arabia. So for me, if the fight happens in Saudi Arabia, it's the old bait and switch. So to me, this is a Vegas fight. Why are we talking about putting it anywhere else other than Las Vegas, right? And then they came out and said, Canelo Crawford kickoff press conference, the very first one, is going to be held in Riyadh in June. I mean, you can't make this up. So when I put out content, you might want to just believe me. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. This sounds already, like I said days ago, a week ago, whatever, I put out that Dana White video. This already sounds like a mess. You have a fighter in Canelo, Mexican fighter, but he made most of his coin fighting in America since age 18 or so, 18, 19. Then you have Crawford, an American from the Midwest. And you allegedly were planning on putting this fight in America. Now, I don't know, but it seems to be this is an American fight. So it would be dumb, even dumber, if you don't put it in America. But why are you doing the first press conference in Saudi Arabia for an American fight? Again, these moves sound not meticulous and they don't sound thought out. Why are you putting it in that area? Like, why would you put the event in America and you put the press conference in Saudi Arabia? Like, so it's like now we're starting to see there's some real conflicts of interest because they keep doing these bait and switches where it looks like they'll have a ruse and say, oh, the fight's going to happen in America, beware. And then slowly but surely, they're going to start trying to shift all of boxing to Saudi Arabia, which is what I said in the beginning, and to serve Saudi politics, right? Because it doesn't really make sense. If you want to make money in America, you don't do a press tour and start it off in Saudi Arabia. And the fight is not going to allegedly be in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Why all these games? Then I can keep going. We ain't done enough. The other issue is like, all right, they're doing the press tour in Saudi Arabia. They switched the date. They're switching the city or location potentially. And they lied about the Allegiant Stadium. If they in fact do switch and put it in a different location, fine, whatever. Let's keep moving on. But the other issue is they're talking about a Riyadh pay-per-view when a lot of people were reporting that Netflix was interested. So to me, this is just a bad look because it looks like Netflix said, get to stepping. Netflix, I'll probably make a separate video. If you want me to make the video about Netflix, just type Netflix in the comment section. But this just seems to be a mess. already. Let me know what you guys think. You dig?